Sometimes you have to do that because the easy challenge is one you'll get lazy with. The big challenge gets you hungry.
Oh, how the tables turn.
That's a heavy topic, and we need to focus on that. If not for yourself, then do it for your children.
Black book is in
Hey,
Black
book.
men talk, black book. What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads, fathers, and male caregivers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care, and since 2021, our movement has reached out directly and indirectly to over 500,000. Gotta remember, it's 500,000, over 500,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. And as always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And you're watching Black Men Can Talk, a show where Black Canadian men come together to have real, unfiltered conversations about life, culture, and community. And I'm joined by one of my co-hosts, Kofi Sadat. What is up, Kofi Sadat?
Greetings, family. Always good to see you, looking cheerful and nice, and good to be back after a couple weeks layoff. But you guys been really holding it down, you and Brother Kofi. I really enjoyed the last two shows, but I'm good. How you doing?
Doing outstanding. Good to be above ground. So that's always a pleasure. Already in the house. In the comment section, Fitness IQ Cam says, good evening, gentlemen. So I am glad to have Fitness IQ Cam in the house. There she is. Good evening, gentlemen. Good to see her. Good to see her. So what's been going on in your world, sir?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. You know, things have been up and down like the weather that we've been experiencing just for the 1 week, but more up than down. So I'm giving thanks for that. And appreciation. So yeah, man, you know, there's a lot of things in the background that we're working on. We'll probably share some of that hopefully by tomorrow. There's a big speaker coming to the city, and very excited about having the potential opportunity to interview him and share. So
sure,
we'll let you know by tomorrow. Of course, check your Dr. Vibe shows in the morning time. But other than that, man, you know, it's all good. I'm giving thanks. How about you? How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Fitness IQ Cam says, chilly. All right. Well, you know what? It's not too bad. It's better than it was 2 weekends ago. So I'll take that. Look, if I don't, I had to just shove my driveway again this morning, but it wasn't that ridiculous. So I'm speaking that the heavy snowfall is done.
Yes.
Heavy stuff. But let me ask you, give me a win you've had since last week.
You know, I had experience to go to the Steel City, the original H-Town, not Houston, but Hamilton. I went there, I think it was 2 days ago, for a couple of reasons. I was accompanying my partner, and there was a Black History comedy show. Amazing comics. I'm going to give it out to Hamilton, someone from Oakville, but really good content, really good people, really engaging. I loved my time being there. So that was definitely a win. And then I also was able to connect with one of my alumni from the Rites of Passage process, who's now living out in Hamilton. So it's really nice, you know, just to connect with some good folks. You know, so I enjoyed my time. So shout out to the original H-Town, Hamilton, Steel City. Had a good time out there.
You know, it's funny because I haven't been. You know what? Let me just switch. That's better. I just look at my symbol. It's just a little bit off there, but it's been a long time since I've been in Hamilton. Usually, I'm driving by Hamilton. I'm not stopping in Hamilton. I can't remember the last time I was in. Like actually, it's been a long time because I was more in the mountains, not actually downtown.
Yeah, for sure. I know the mountains.
It's been a minute.
Well, there's a good reason to go, man. A lot of good things are happening, especially in the Black community in Hamilton. There's been, we even stopped by and we saw a Black-owned obstetrician, you know, like that. We connected with her for a minute. Yeah, man, they're doing some big things. There's a festival in the summer I went to there. So, yeah,
Okay.
usually I'm going over the bridge to head into Niagara Falls. I don't really stop in Hamilton, but I'm going to give a shout out to folks out there now.
All right. So Fitness IQ Camp says fair enough in regards to the weather is better than it was. So fair enough, she says. So yes, agreed.
All right.
What else? Got anything going on? What else? Anything else?
Not much. What about yourself? How are things going? What's
Not
going
bad.
on for you?
I've been making some progress when it comes to live streaming, and I'm increasing my viewership during live broadcasts. So I'm pleased about that.
Nice.
So that's been a move in the right direction. And what else? There's some potential like yourself. There's some things that I'm working on that I won't talk about yet till they become signed. But it also involves working or not working with a Black owned business. So, which is always a good thing. And, we're almost near the end. Yeah. Well, actually, funny enough, a week from today is March 1st. So Black History Month will have ended.
Wow. Well, that's why we celebrating all year, man. The
Thank you.
Thank you. Wild ride. It's been nice.
Thank you. 365. 365.
There you go.
All right. So for people going, where is Brother Kofi Morris? He is actually at a Black History Month event, so he will not be joining us tonight. But we're going to toe the line and pick up the slack in his absence. So what we're going to do is, Fitness IQ Cam says 365.
All right. And
there we go.
That's somebody who knows her numbers. So definitely.
Oh yeah, it would make sense. Yes.
365.
Very good.
Money sign next to it. We got you, Fitness IQ. Listen.
Yeah, well, I know, and she's already putting it out there. Tax season. There you go. Tax season. All right. So we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna just go away for about 30 seconds. Come back, do some housekeeping, and then we're gonna get right into a friend. So we'll be back in 30 seconds.
Let's watch Black Canada Talking live on Sundays at 5 p.m. Eastern, where Dr. Vibe and Cesar Demamusa give their takes and POVs on news stories from a Black Canadian perspective.
Let's watch The Morning Vibe live on Mondays and Fridays at 9 a.m. Eastern, where Dr. Vibe and Ryan Knight discuss important subjects between themselves or have conversations with people who you need to know about.
All right, we are back on Black Men Can Talk. So let's get to the housekeeping and get right into the conversation. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Also follow the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack. If you want to advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms I'm a part of, email me, dr.vibe@thedr.vibe.show.com. Also, if you have a question or comment, sure, you can do the comment section, but we encourage you to call in. Go to your favorite browser. Go to callme.rode.com. Use the code FSP L8L. Hit that, then put your name in the next screen. Make sure your echo cancellation is off and say join call. We make it happen. So we are on another groove as always. So we have another new friend coming to the show today. So I'm going to have Kofi Sadat introduce our friend.
All right. Okay. Been waiting a long time to get my brother on the show. Busy man in terms of community, family, work, entrepreneurship, he does it all. So I want to, without further ado, introduce my brother Hezzy, who's an accomplished educator, 2 decades of experience, works from a decolonized learning and integrates artificial intelligence, emotional intelligence, and ancient intelligence, which I call the real AI, into the designs of his innovative, future-focused curricula. He's an author with some great books, a great father who's also got his children involved in some of the authorship work, specializes in STEAM. We'll definitely be getting into that, focusing with young people. He's worked with over 200,000 students across the GTA, without further ado, can I have a drum roll for my brother from another, of course, the same mother, Africa? Here we go. Brother Hezzy.
How we go?
How are you doing?
Now rapping on the show.
Or what does he want one of these?
Yes.
All right. Welcome, my brother. How are we doing today?
Thank you so much. It's such a blessing to be here. I'm doing very well. Such an honor to be here. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Well, Fitness IQ is going bop, bop, bop. Mr. Hezzy. All right.
Yes. That's my sister.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, right?
Yes. I know my sister over there.
This is good. Well, let's get right into our conversation pieces. Like, I want to ask, first of all, you've impacted over 200,000 students across the GTA, South America, West Africa. What moment in your life said, I need to bring this into our people's minds?
I think, thank you so much for asking that. It was really a long time ago when I was in grade 5. I was in a history class, and I realized that I loved history, but I realized that our stories were not being told. And I said, that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. It just sparked that I really just wanted to get our history out there. So it's something that I figured out a long time ago when I was in history class, that this is what I wanted to do, is just get our history and our story, because I knew how it impacted me and how it made me feel better. So I know that these stories were very powerful and they were resonant, and I just wanted to make them available to the masses.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Oh, good to go.
Kofi, to that, I can go on, but I make room for everybody.
Oh, for sure. So, I mean, just for, folks who may not be familiar with the acronym STEAM, can you kind of break it down for us in terms of what it incorporates?
Perfect, thank you. So STEAM, the acronym is science for the S, technology, engineering, art, and math. Right, so that's STEAM. There's a lot of push now in the world of education to make sure that the children, the students, are proficient in those skills. So coming from the Afrocentric lens, what I like to do in my work is go back to go forward. So in a lot of work that I do, like I'll give an example. One of my books here is called Afro Pick Adventures Presents the Incredible Genius Imhotep. So I use rhyme, infuse hip hop and art to tell our stories, right? So with this story, we see that Imhotep, the world's first polymath, doctor, physician, right? Genius. I use rhyme to teach the young people about their inner genius, right? So that's how I use it. Now, when you talk about it, for the person who doesn't understand or see STEAM, it's all over the place, right? Science, technology, engineering, art, and math. But also there's a lot of things that we've contributed as a people to science, technology, engineering, art, and math that is very unknown to a lot of us. So I've taken that as my calling now to share that information in rhyme, in an artistic fashion, in books, to help young people and the masses learn about our contributions of African people and how it's impacted the world, right, in a very engaging and entertaining way.
Right, definitely. And do you ever, I know Dr. Vibe is going to have lots of questions, but do you ever experience any resistance or, young people not believing that, we have this vast history or this connection to STEAM? And if you do, what kind of things, do we, help to kind of center young people around that?
Perfect. Yeah. A lot of the times, I don't think it's like resistance. It's somewhat shock. I think a lot of them, the spaces that I'm in, there's a lot of shock, which then leads to more pride. They're like, wow, I never knew that. So from people of the African descent, they're like, wow, I never knew that. And other nations are just like, wow, I never knew that. A lot of it, I don't find it's very rare that I might get a back and forth. No, this never happened. That's not it. But for the most part, people are just like, there's younger people, the students like, wow, I'm shocked. They leave the sessions like, I never knew that. So a lot of it, even in my history, like, years ago, even when I was doing the ancient Egyptians, when I was in a school in Barrie and I was doing it on a PowerPoint, one of the teachers came up to me after, like, I never knew the Egyptians were black. So a lot
Oh, wow.
You see a lot of them is just like, I never knew that. Like, it's a lot of I never knew. Sometimes I do remember in earlier days when I was a lot younger, like the resistance, when I was starting to show the early images of Beethoven and things like that. They're like, no, and they would send me a Wikipedia image trying to, show me something. But that's now, I think it's like, it's so commonplace now that a lot of people just kind of fall back. Like, you know what I mean? Like with the Egyptians and things like that, that stuff's kind of falling back and becoming common knowledge now.
I like the way you dropped a little note about Beethoven and the blackness. We'll get into that, but I'll kick it to my brother, Dr. Vibe. Go ahead.
Okay, well, just want to catch up with some comments here. Frequency Event Promotion says, Hezzy, 4 eyes. And also he says, this brother is the real deal. We have someone here from Florida says, what's up, y'all? Florida is in the building. And Frequency Event Promotion says this brother can drop rhymes all in an innovative, creative, and educational way.
There you go.
What? You got a fan club going on here, brother.
Exactly. Yes. You
got a fan club going on here.
Thank you so much.
What I'm going to do before I ask my next conversation piece, I actually have, just bear with me, no, I will get to it. I don't want to interrupt the flow here. Conversation piece for you. In fact, how did your background in special education and alternative community classes at the YRDSB shape the way you think about AI and equity in the classroom?
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. Well, coming from a special ed background and as a teacher, Ontario certified teacher, I was able to see the educational components. And because I'm trained in to work with different type of learners, it helped me now craft a program with the organization I'm part of, Elevated Grounds, to help young people learn about AI, also learn about transformation of self, right? And then also to learn about AI, transformation of self, and then fuse that back with the Ontario curriculum. So then that's the reason why, that's my lens that I always work with equity. Even the images of the pictures that when I draw for my artwork and my books, it has a lot of the representation. So students are already connected, right? So I have that framework from an educational literacy lens, and then I infuse that with the artificial intelligence, which is coming right now. It's in the world, coming from a STEAM background, loving science, knowing that, and I'm seeing where the board and the world is going, is now filling that gap. So I call it the triangulation of elevation, which will really start to fuse those three components to help young people learn how to use artificial intelligence effectively and ethically. And then also now going into the sciences, looking at the statistics and knowing that we have a vast history of us being in the sciences and contributing to the world of science. So this is for nothing is new under the sun. So I'm teaching the young people to look back at their ancient intelligence to now to their ancestral intelligence to help inspire their artificial intelligence. So it's just a way of now grabbing our history and forging us forward into the future and being an actual force in this realm and not being left behind. So that is now how I was able to use my educational background to then propel forward in the world of education and artificial intelligence.
Well, you're dropping some serious knowledge bombs here, brother. I'm telling you. So before I pass it back to Kofi Sadat, if you want to get in touch with Hezzy, there is the website. And I've shared it on all the comment sections on most of the comments sections on the platforms you're watching live. And also we have a question for the audience that I've shared on a lot of our platforms. What's one way AI is already touching your life as a Black man or a Black woman, good or bad? So that's a question for the audience. Hey, would love to get your answers at least in real time, but if after you're watching the replay, that'd be great. I'll pass it back to Kofi Sadat.
There you go. So, I would say sometimes in the quote unquote conscious world, I've seen some resistance to AI, right? Because, again, the balance between, I like the way you fuse it together with ancient knowledge or ancestral intelligence with that, right? So which I think is a good thing. So I know that at one point you weren't just focusing with children, but you're also focusing on adults. So what kind of, lessons or offerings do you have to, gray beards like us and gray hairs like us who, feel we want to get into this, but, we might feel kind of intimidated, with the technology or whatnot. So how do we lean into AI as the older generation?
Yes, thank you so much for that question. The same way that I would lean in with the young person, right, is just start where they are. So that is now leaning right back into the other question about coming from the education background, is starting where you are. So if I know that already, I'm going to go nice and slow, and we're going to talk about prompt engineering. We're going to talk about what is AI, artificial intelligence, and now make everyone comfortable, right? So then just to add to some of the work that I've done, I have something called a Stay Elevated AI app, which teaches young people I use in school, which is already in the Peel District School Board, which teaches you step by step. I would use the same lessons with adults, you understand, and coming at it with patience and understanding, and I would help allay those fears. We'd have the conversations, in our world. Oh, Babylon thing. I went to an event in the Peel District School Board, and the sister was like, "Oh, I don't want to do this stuff, a Babylon business." And then once I showed it to another educator, she's like, "Yo, thank you." Right. So we would take it right there in our community. Oh, this is Babylon. This is the devil. This is okay. Let's talk about what aspects are those things. And once we start to see it, how do you use the technology? Because it's like it's a neutral somewhat technology, but it's how one uses it. So once we're able to have that conversation to dispel any of those fears, then one is like, wait a second, I'm seeing it. Perfect example when we're talking about education and representation. In the blink of an eye, I can get a black Imhotep. I can get a black, doctor. I can get any image there. So that helps us now. We're talking another issue where we're like, oh, there's no representation in books. I can jump online now and create a whole, movie right now on different figures that we don't even know about. So I did something the other day on my Instagram. It was about King Shabaka and 5 different aspects about him with some music, right? These are some things. Also, another art form that I have is something called dub plate art, where I use authentic dub plates and then I put art on top of it. So it now connects to our...
Oh, you got to pull that dub plate up again. Say that again, bro.
Okay,
Listen,
so yes.
Listen, Dr. Vibe, we can't just jump into that.
All right. Well, yes.
Break that down again. The dub plate.
Dub plate. Okay, so we're gonna put. Okay, this is what it is. So I have to hail up King Turbo Slingshot for helping me with this. But we've already been able to collaborate with Capleton, Sizzla, Luciano, Blessed, and Kamani Marley. So all of those, we have dub plates from all of those artists, and then I make somewhat movies out of it. So somewhat like dub plate meets Nollywood, and we fuse them together, and then that is a conversation piece. When we're going right back to education now, that is our minds on. When I go to the schools, or if I go to, as you said, the gray hairs, and I drop a Sizzla, Black Woman and Child, or a Rise to the Occasion, and I did this in BSAs, the students already feel connected. Like, my grandma listens to this, I listen to this. And then once we're able to say, wait, you did this video through AI, that is our conversation starter, right? And then it also allows for other artists who might want to get in and don't have a big budget, how can they now start to go viral? So it has a lot of pieces that one could intersect with the art form that lends and leads to conversation. And then from once we leave for conversation, that again now gets the gray heads and the younger people engaged. I was just at another presentation, and the teacher was just like, wait a second, we are so impressed with this, and the engagement is there. You understand? So that's something that, sorry, I'm in this other room here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But the engagement is high, especially in the world.
Like you're getting the other intelligence kind of beaming you down in the background.
Always. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. That's what it is. The downloads are always coming.
There you go. No, but that's dope. I mean, that's honestly, I'm super impressed by that. And of course, big up King Turbo. They're actually one of our maybe second or third guests about a year ago on the show with Slingshot, Andrew, and those. So yeah, definitely. I mean, to fuse those worlds, I'm definitely ready to sign up for the courses and whatever it is, on a personal note. But I think actually that's a great bridge. Music, art, and technology, bringing it all together. So I want to hail you up. But I will pass it on to Dr. Vibe, because I know he's got the stacks of questions ready to go.
Well, also there's some people comments. So Frequency Event Promotion says, teach the nation or teach the nations. And he goes, wheel. And Fitness IQ answering the question of, what tool could design a tool just for the community. She says to do an AI tool to teach investing.
Perfect. Yes.
And then Kofi Coates says, dub plates and AI, we are making Black History family.
This is it.
100%, 100%, 100%. Another conversation piece, and you've mentioned a little bit in your sharing with us tonight. How do you help students critically question AI systems instead of just consuming them, especially around race, identity, and power?
Okay. The first thing I'm going to take about, thank you for asking that question, is we talk about AI ethics. So that's one thing that really starts to hit about the power and the personal power of the user. How do I use AI ethically? That I can take a picture and make it say whatever I want it to say, do whatever I want it to do. That is the first question that I have in one of our programs that we run in the schools. We start to talk about the power of AI and its ethical use, because there's the amount of water it takes to store all of these things, all of this AI, the generators, all the ethical piece. Like if I can just make myself jump out of here and I don't let you know that it's fake, I can just beam myself up. So that's some of the ways that we start the conversation about power for the individual. And then, so that's the first part about the individual power and agency that the user has and the responsibility that they have when they are creating tools or creating art with AI, creating anything with AI. There is a responsibility, an ethical responsibility to make sure that, are you telling something truthful? Are you hurting people? Things like that. That's the first part. The second part now, when it comes to representation, this is the real reason why I created the Stay Elevated AI app to be used in schools, because I will tell you a story. When I was in one of the schools and we did prompt engineering for someone to think of themselves in the future. So they would describe themselves and then they would get a picture. But this was it was a girl, and she was dark skinned, a Black sister, and she was Muslim, and she typed in, being a doctor when she was older, and that image didn't show up. So everyone else is enjoying the technology, and then she was crying, she was upset, and I had to go and prompt engineer on different tools, and that stuck with me. Then I worked with another student who had a turban on, and the same kind of issue. We're trying to, do future forward thinking, getting our virtual vision boards, and there was nothing for him. And I start to realize, okay, that's the second person. Then the third person, there was a biracial boy, and he was trying to say that he's mixed and different things and different words, and it didn't show up. Either it had to be Black or it had to be white. And so I started to see that AI was causing harm in the realm of representation. So then that's why when I made the Stay Elevated AI app, I have a melanin drop-down menu, which now just gets skin tone. And that's where we get from the decolonized lens. So we don't have to use the word race. I don't have to say I'm a Black man with glasses. You just press the skin tone, and then it moves us away from this colonialized language. And we were able to now use skin tone. And then the students just press that. And I found a lot less harm has been inflicted on the students when it's coming for them to start to think of the transformation and themselves in the future.
Wow, that's deep, bro.
All right. Deep. Before I hand it back to Kofi, more comments here. Fitness IQ Cam says, I just had to cuss my Delroy. So that's Delroy is her name for her chat GPT for not creating people of color images first, but did acknowledge what it did and apologized. And then Dr. Tachi is here all the way from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, saying good evening all. And Fitness IQ Cam says, oh, Hezzy, I remember we have to connect. So
yes.
There we go. Back to you, Brother Kofi.
Yeah, just lots of good information that's taking it in, to be honest with you, right? So, and I love that. I love that. So, in terms of some of the works that you're doing, and the books and whatnot. So maybe you may want to share with folks, if you're open, about how young people are now doing what our brother Malik is saying, the importance of writing their own stories or writing themselves into their stories. Maybe you can probably give some examples. I know that your daughter is in one of the books that you guys have written and whatnot. So like, how does that look, and why is that important for young people to write themselves into our story, as I'd say?
Yeah. Perfect. Well, yes. Now, there's so many angles that I'm going to touch on that. So I use the personal example of my daughter. I have 3 books here, and I'm going to tie it into myself and then take it to the micro to macro. So I have this book, Truly Melanin Presents Self-Care Sundays. I have You Can Be, And then I also have this one right over here, which is Afro Pick Adventures presents the incredible genius Imhotep. It is very important for us to have our representation, right? The students, they have they can see themselves in the books, right? Other students can learn about them. So the books now start to become a mirror for us. When we're looking at ourselves, we see representation. We don't feel left out. We feel included. We feel good about our stories. People are learning about our stories. Our stories can also now be seen as a window. People can go into our lives, look into people's our stories, and also start to develop empathy. Our stories start to become humanized. They start to see, what does it look like to be a Black girl and take care of yourself. Self-care Sundays, because everything inside of this book is talking about self-care strategies that are connected back to Africa. So every single thing that truly does with her friends, there is a workshop that I go into schools that talk about the African origins of wellness. So when one person's talking about journaling, we talk about the papyrus, we talk about the first people who are writing, we talk that inside of this book, they're doing yoga, we talk about comedic yoga, we talk about friendship. We talk about affirmations. They say positive words to themselves. They do grounding. She's journaling. She's outside. So when she's outside, taking in the forest, she's doing sunbathing. She's doing forest bathing. So this is just, again, to start the conversation about self-care and what is the African lens on self-care. A lot of times, even you look at any of these magazines, it's always a non-racialized person talking about meditation. We talk about that. So we infuse it back to the African essence, right? And then you were talking about when people were asking maybe are any resistance. When I say that yoga started off in Africa, and I say 5,000 years before India, people's mouths drop. And then that is an educational point, right? So these are the tools that allow for that. Right. So that is why it's so important to have the literacy, especially we could even see with that young brother who was going I show speed. You can see that connection as well for opening the eyes of the young people through going to Africa. It's the same kind of thing now with this literature. The stories rhyme. It catches the people's attention. I can freestyle. Did I even mention? I start talking about inventions. I just go on with the flow. I'm over here at the Dr. Vibe show. I'm teaching children about things that they should know. I just keep on going and going. I have a nice smile. I talk about the ancient civilizations down the Nile. So I just can keep going and flowing. And I just keep on going without a pen. I start talking about the bread of life like Bethlehem. I could just keep going, right? The house of bread. So I can keep going. That's what I just said. So that's what I do. I take that rhyme and I put that on paper. You understand? And I put that on pictures. And I put pictures to it. And then once we understand the psychology of what's taking place, you have from the special ed background, we have the auditory learner that can take everything that I just said and feel that. But if you have the visual learner now who needs to get, that to be seen with a picture, we put that together, right? So then we're now getting different aspects of the different learners and then infusing that in a product that children can learn about their history and then feel empowered and feel elevated.
I love it. I love it. So for those who don't know, the Black Man Can Talk album is coming out soon. We're going to feature Hezzy on one of the tracks. Kofi, you're online listening, so I hope you get the styles ready and the beats. We're all good, guys.
All right. So I did update Hezzy's contact information. She's added 2 websites, StayElevatedAI.com and HezzyElevatesMinds.com. So that's been updated in the comment section on a lot of the platforms that you are watching this live or on replay. Another conversation piece for you. Let me just get my bearings right here. Okay. I want you to talk a little about StayElevatedAI.com. What problem were you solving when you created your AI avatar app, StayElevatedAI.com? And what was, quote, enough is enough, unquote, moment? What was
Perfect.
the enough is enough moment?
Thank you for asking that. The enough is enough moment was just, I'm going to tie right back into fitness, finance, her situation, that the default, if you put in the word CEO, it'd be a white male. If you type in doctor, it'd be a white woman or white man. And the thing that the enough is enough was the harm that I saw. I would go to different schools and use different tools. And then when everyone else is happy, I had to go to a corner with a young girl crying. And the teacher would come over here and say, you know what, can you fix this? and everyone leaves, and I got to now do my prompt engineering, beautiful black woman with hijab, and then I got to write another thing, and I'm like, wait, this is not, like, I had to just do like the AI magic right there on the spot to make sure this young lady doesn't go and leave, right? So I've seen that before. I've seen a lot of harm on different apps, right? I've seen some racist things. I've seen certain things where people didn't feel good after my lesson. So then when I would drive home and be like, enough's enough, because this is the same thing. It's a powerful tool, but I'm like, we got to look beautiful. We got to just look amazing. It's an amazing tool, but we can't get left out. And I knew that was a problem. So then that's why I took my time. I worked with my developer, and then I used the Crayola skin tones. And then I used that as the melanin drop-down menu to now make us move away from the race conversation, because I can type in black and there's so many different shades. So then when someone's looking at themselves, they, oh, you type in black, but they only give you this black, it might be not your shade. And I found, so then that would upset mostly some people, but who I found was really upset was the young sisters. Oh my goodness. I would be out at programs and sisters be typing in their hair. It says braids. It's not, and I go, is it good enough? I said braids, and she's got to type in the braids, and that's not my skin tone. I'm not that, and they're going in, and I can see it.
Wow.
I was able to start to see how important at these young ages, grade 6, 5, and above, like the sisters were going in, and they had the girls right there. All the girls are together, and it doesn't look like me. And can I get another try? And I'm like, okay, it's so important for us to control the way that we look. So I start to see that enough's enough, because they weren't getting the representation. And already statistically, right, the sisters are not really represented statistically in the STEAM fields already. So I didn't want to now start coming to spaces and causing harm to our sisters and brothers. You understand? So that's why even now our dark skin, but even our biracial brothers and sisters, like they were catching it. Like I would see a girl with this blonde hair. She'd have to put herself blonde hair and blue eyes, but like, you don't look like that. But she did this just because the prompt engineering, it didn't allow for them. You understand? So they were getting harmed as well. And sisters with hijabs were getting harmed, you know, so there was nothing like, so I'm like seeing all this harm with young people, and I'd have to stay. And their teachers are like, can you come over here before you leave? And like certain students coming from spec ed, if they are like time bombs, like this is a trigger. So I've already seen one young man, a teacher pulled me over and says, you can't leave here until this situation is done. Like we need him to have success. So I brought him over, and I kept on working on his skin tone. And I'm like, you know what? Like we got him. And then I started to create my things. And then I found more joy. I found less of those situations. And then even the last time I presented, like, yo, can we take this home? Can we take this app home? Like, you know, people are really feeling it because they feel included. So that was my enough's enough. After seeing enough harm, when I would go out and do the work, and this work is based on like bringing an equitable standpoint to AI and with STEAM, that was my turning point.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. Before I pass it back to Kofi, I got to catch up on comments because they're flying in. So Kofi Coach says ethics and AI, 3 words, melanin drop down menu. He also says 3 words, melanin drop down menu speaks to the importance of our presence in the AI field universe. Frequency of promotions. This album seems to be growing grooves, not legs. He says, what are you doing? I know I don't want that one. I want the other one. Black Men Can Talk album. There we go. I would like to produce some production for this, please. Coach says, ready for the album. Also, Fitness IQ says, waiting for the album. Right, just waiting for the album as well. Fitness IQ Camp says, LMAO, I think your comments about the hair and the ladies in the hair. She says, yeah, you better. She says, you better make sure it's either braids, folk locks, or afro, etc.
You got it.
Frequency of Promotion says, pedology from the vernacular of the Black Man Can Talk album. What is this album thing?
I don't know what I put out there, bro. I don't know. I put it out there.
And he also follows up with presentation of self. Right back to you, Kofi said, I didn't know we become album producers all of a sudden.
Yes. And Dr. Tachi says, this is so interesting.
There we go. There you go.
For that. So again, this kind of recentering folks. Of course, this is Black Men Can Talk, where we elevate and stay elevated in terms of giving voice to many of these brilliant brothers that are on the show. And of course, Hezzy, the thank you much, so far what you've dropped. I mean, it's not over. And of course, as we always say, we need a part 2. At least. We're scratching the surface with this brother. And I really want to, say right now, I'm just standing here in appreciation of some of the stuff that you're bringing forward. And it's definitely important for us as a Black community, for us as Black men, to definitely be engaged into this world of STEAM, this world of AI. I know, like I said, there's sometimes some resistance, but I think it's really understanding on how we can use this tool to empower ourselves. So I'm very happy about that. So are there any projects that you have on the horizon that you want to share? Let us know that, we can kind of hear more about.
Yes. I'll be dropping something new in the next few days, some more dub plate art. And look out for the digital experience, Truly Melanin, Rise of the Queens. So you're going to see that in the video. I'm going to just, everyone who's following me on Instagram, it's at Hezzy Elevates Minds. Yeah, Hezzy Elevates Minds. You can find it, and you can find my dub plate art there. And in the next few days, I'm going to be dropping that, and you're going to see something. So there's going to be some more interactive historical pieces, all the stories that we talk about, that never really make it. Like if you look at, this is just something that another why, like I'm looking at one of our books, like any book that you have pertaining to African history, and we can talk as men, women, it's very dense. And if you want to talk about the Moors, if you want to talk about the Olmecs, if you want to talk about the Egyptians, it can be very intimidating. Right. You understand, for a person who is not coming with all of that language, you understand, to sit down and read 200 and 300 pages. So I found that was my gift from when I was very young, was to take very big concepts and break them smaller. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So everything that I'm saying, like the Beethoven, the Olmecs, all that can now be movified, turn into a movie, right? And that's now what captures the young people. So all of our stories now, you can capture it in a movie, and that's kind of what I'll just leave it there. All right.
We're looking forward to that, especially. Listen, I'm on the dub plate thing. I'm sorry, guys. I gotta go back to that. So I really want to see what that looks like, right? Because as I said, music is a great medium. As somebody that is in the school system, right? And a lot of what you're talking about, we probably will not see in the average school, including the resources like the books and the approach with that piece. So I'm involved in a project that is looking at reimagining the school system if it was from an African-centered perspective, and a lot of the stuff you're doing as well. So just an open question: if you could reimagine, right? If you had that Thanos snap, and you could reimagine and bring forth something, this week, we'll say this week into the school, what would you want to see presented or changed, right? If you had that snap.
Yeah, if I snapped it in, it would be the curriculum that I'm working on, a transformation for elevation program. And I can talk a little bit more about that program because it infuses transformational psychology, right? Which is very rooted into our ancient ancestry. How does one transform themselves from their present state to the state that they desire, right? So that was something that I would bring in with the world of AI. I would think big too. So I would also bring in nature and farming and a lot more entrepreneurship, bring in mentorship, talk about energetics, core energetics. It would be a total revamping of personal elevation for oneself. So what school would then be transformed into an elevation system. It'd be a system of ascension that would allow you to have world impact of self, impact of your community. So it would really be something like that.
Okay. We elevated the minds directly.
Right.
Bro, I got it.
Right.
I love it.
Want to jump in here and ask you wrote a screen-free activity manual for parents. In a world of AI and devices everywhere, what are 2 or 3 practical things parents can do this week to balance tech, creativity, and cultural grounding?
Perfect. To balance it is really the first part with the tech is really just spending some time. You can, first of all, I would say is like, if you're looking at limiting it, right, you can make a decision. If you feel that your child needs it to be limited, you've got to now think of what will be the alternative, because that's a whole deep conversation too about tech, the limiting, screen free, and its implications on oneself and the tech addiction and the screen addiction. So that now, if one is going to go into that realm and want to venture into that realm, we have to understand let me see if I have a book on that. I always have a book on something. I was just reading one here, but yeah, it's about the ramifications of the screen. So one has to educate themselves on that. And if you want to balance it, you said tech, and then what was the other part that you want to balance? You said it was tech and balance.
Balance tech, creativity, and cultural grounding.
Perfect. Okay, so the cultural grounding now is where a person has to now start to decide what aspect they want to ground themselves in. So if we're looking at Black history now, you can now use the technology in any standpoint. You can go on YouTube, you can go on anywhere, or if you want to use AI and start to really see what does it say about certain things. So I like to mix things like African history and then like another thing if you want to talk about finance and see what is our ancestors teaching us about finance. And one can now come and you can sit down with ChatGPT, and if you know how to use it, you can really start to get very creative and get some answers and create different things. So there's, in this realm of AI, it's also, I feel it's an instant manifestation tool. So whatever your framework that you're looking for, if you're looking to balance tech, balance cultural, ground yourself in with your cultural education, you can use AI to do that. You can ask it questions, prompt AI to do that, and it can help you with that. Create me a plan that I can reduce my child's screen time by this and that. What are the natural steps? So I would use that if that's what my angle was. If my angle now, I did another program in Markham to help young people start a business, I would then use ChatGPT and generative AI to come up with a business plan. So it always now is the user, what is their end goal? What are they looking to produce? And then use the technology to allow them to get the desired result. So it's really now coming back to the user for them to be self-aware, knowing what they want, and then using the tool, which is an instant manifestation tool that gets you something on your screen. And then now is the onus is on the individual is to now take the game plan and fuse that with the knowledge, with the action. So this is now where the individual has to be an action-oriented person, because you stay on ChatGPT all night, you get a lesson plan, you'll get $1 million plan, how to make $1 million in this thing. You have it all there. We have to start to now use that information, levels the playing field. You can get ChatGPT for free. You can get on Gemini, you can get on Claude. Then we have to be strategic in now implementing plans. So that's something now I know we kind of moved away from screen free because that's a goal. You can use it to achieve goals.
If I have permission to ask another quick conversation piece, what questions should school boards and principals be asking before they adopt any AI tool to Black and marginalized communities?
I think usually what I've been seeing is always looking for the safety. That's what I always see now. There's some schools that I've worked with, early adopters. They want to go in, they're loving it. And that is something that I feel that most schools are always concerned about is the harm piece. Are the students safe? So when they look at anything with the outputs, I talked to another teacher who did a program last year, and then certain things like sexualization, when they went in to start to do some pictures with anime. So they're always looking first for the safety of the children. Is this activity in the world of AI, which is so exciting and so new, going to cause harm? And that is what I think everyone's concern is taking their time, working in with different parameters to make sure that the students do not get into an environment with the most powerful technology on the planet. Well, one of them, we can debate that, but saying, is it going to cause the children harm, especially marginalized youth that has been documented that go to school and experience harm? So I think that is what a lot of people are going to be considering.
Okay.
Share.
Kofi, you want? I have more if you want, but go ahead if you need.
I can ask another question.
Sure.
And I know, Hezzy, definitely, we're here and we're talking a lot about technology and science and AI, but I know the other side I know of you is that you also like to have your hands in the dirt. You're one of those pioneers, Black pioneers that decided to go far from the city and buy some land and invest in nature, and so just kind of swinging the other way, kind of letting us know a little bit around why that's important, but also does that have any relationship to AI, like nature and being in AI? So go ahead.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, I'll take that from a personal standpoint. Like the farmer Hezzy now, I always liked nature. I found that, a lot of my downloads, a lot of my ideas come in solitude out in nature. So
Okay.
I really liked that. I find it so calming and peaceful when
Right.
I'm out there in nature. I really like open fields. I like planting. My favorite thing to plant is potatoes. I like potatoes just because I get the surprise after you put one, you find some other ones. I just like that. And it's a good feeling when you really start to see that you put something in the ground and you start to see it grow. There's a lot of spiritual connections to farming. So it connects you to the Most High, and you always can learn something. There's always a lesson in farming, in working with nature and being people of nature. It really just resonates. So there's a frequency of resonance that when you're in the natural realm, it does impact the technological realm. So I find that's a personal balance for myself. That if I'm on the screen too long or whatever, I like to get out in nature and run. Last night I was running in the nighttime. I like nature. I like the downloads that I get. A lot of these things, the freestyles, the stories, the ideas comes from nature.
Right.
Even the word nature, netaru, coming right back to our ancient ancestors. So there's always that connection. But I find that I need to be connected to the Most High in an actual environment that allows for that. So then when I do engage back into the tech world, I have a new and fresh download.
Nice. I love that. So that, Dr. Vibe, that might even be, one of the advice to give to, some of the young people in terms of balance of off screen time, the importance of actually being in nature as well. So for sure.
Right.
I hear you. So I'm going to ask you, what does, quote, Black brilliance in the age of AI, unquote, mean to a 14-year-old in Toronto who's never seen themselves in tech spaces?
Black brilliance for the 14-year-old child is that the sky is the limit. And I'm going to explain that. Like, I know within our culture, the AI is the equalizer. I'm going to start to speak about our creativity of that 14-year-old child. I'm imagining that 14-year-old child in Toronto can think and can talk and has ideas. If that's the individual you're talking about, a Black brilliance, a brother you can speak to, a sister you can speak to, and they might have ideas, but they're like, yo, I need the funding, I need this and that. AI starts to equalize that. There's different apps out there that you just type it in what you're thinking out and it creates it. So then now when you took all this time and you need all this funding for development, that young Black brilliant child has an idea, has a download. They go to the computer, which I see this as an instant manifestation tool of one's thought. They are now able to manifest that in this plane. So all those brothers who are highly creative, could freestyle at the drop of a dime, can dunk, can do all this different type of stuff, and they want that to be transferred. There is a tool now of AI that allows them to think of whatever they're thinking, and boom. If you say, man, I'm trying to think of this my main character in a story, you type it up, it's there in this realm, you download it, you build your AI portfolio. That thought now has become real. So this tool now is an instant manifestation tool. It now benefits the creative young Black child at 14 years old who's always going into the quantum field, always thinking about stuff, but it's like, yo, you're in your own mind. Bring that out to me. You sit down, you type it out, you're going to start to see these different worlds that they have, the different characters. What do you want to be when you're older? So it's an equalizer coming now from the special ed hat too, that helps reach that 14-year-old Black child who might not be strong with language, written language, but he can talk. Well, that allows that when you press the microphone, that person can now go and speak. So the world that they're thinking about in their head, they get to now visualize it, take that, print that off, and they can see it every day, and it starts to impact their subconscious mind. So now the world of dreamers, now we can now take that, bring that into this 3D realm, have a team of people now support that young brother or sister, and then now we can start our conversations, which have to be fused with action.
Oh, it's good. That's good. That is really good. And I know we're starting to wind it down here, so I'll just ask this. If we get this right, AI, STEAM, and decolonized learning, what does a liberated Black classroom look like in 10 years?
A liberated, yeah, thank you. That's a great question. A liberated Black classroom now is freedom in all sense of the words. It's instant manifestation, and there's no more limits. You understand? There's no more limits. The sky is the limit. But if you can imagine it, you can build it, and it's there now. The tech is there. Like the biggest thing is, let's just talk about one example and seeing that I have an idea for a building. It looks like this and that. Boom, there's technology out there. I have an idea for an app. The technology is out there. So there's no excuses. You understand? Once that child sees that in that classroom, the sky's the limit. You are creating worlds. All of those worlds that stay in our mind, and I got this idea and I got this book and I'm just going to keep it in my book and all, that's not a thing anymore. We have to really develop those other soft skills and other skills about confidence to now share whatever's in your book, your rhyme book, your design book, bring that out into that classroom, because now it has the opportunity for people to really be whatever they want, right? So it's really the sky's the limit, right?
Kofi said that.
Listen, bro, I'm just sitting here with the amazement and the alignments. So, I think, again, we're going to need that part two for sure. We're going to need that part two, because I think that, definitely we can't just keep on the surface. But I really want to thank you, my brother, for spending the time, and I always say your time, is one of the most valuable things you have, and your energy and your essence. So I want to, kind of hold that there and thank you for that. I know Dr. Vibe, we got some comments.
Yeah, we've got some things here before we let go. So Frequency of Promotion says, Dr. Vibe, please introduce Hezzy to Dr. Tachi. The fabric needs a new thread. Agreed. And then we've got a question from the audience here. Hello. Not sure if you've spoken about this, but do you think that AI may replace a lot of jobs that have been acquired predominantly by Black people?
Great
Good question. Go for it.
It's a very good question. I'm going to pull out some stats for that in some of my presentations, and I'll read them and we can open that conversation about Black professionals are underrepresented in Canadian STEM careers. Less than 2% of Canadian university professors in STEM fields are Black. Only 20 to 25% of computer science students are women, with even fewer Black women, right? Population versus STEM representation. Black Canadians constitute approximately 3.5% of the national population, but represent only 3.2% of individuals in STEAM occupations, indicating a disparity between their population size and STEM workforce participation. Now, I know that question there about the workforce. I'm going to drop some AI statistics. Impact on global jobs. By 2030, up to 800 million jobs worldwide could be displaced by automation and AI. Right, and that source is coming from McKinsey Global Institute. Jobs lost, jobs gained. Creation of new jobs. AI is expected to create 97 million new jobs globally by 2025, even as it displaces 85 million existing roles. So another part of that is need for reskilling. By 2025, 50% last year, 50% of all employees will need reskilling due to the adoption of AI and new technologies, right? So Black representation, I think we talked about that. So I'll talk about the Black representation in Canada's tech sector. While Black Canadians make up approximately 4.3% of the national population as of 2023, they represent only 2.6% of the tech sector workforce. This disparity is even more pronounced among Black women who face additional barriers to entry and advancement in technology roles. This is coming from the digital supercluster. So I'm going to go back to that story, answer the question. It potentially could, take jobs away from others, many different people, right? And there's also the opportunity now where our creativity could be infused with AI ethics to create new jobs. In the world of teaching, they're always saying that, the job that we're preparing you for doesn't even exist right now. We're in that realm right now. And you can see, I'll use I show speed. 20 years ago, you can never say, I want to stop working or not go and become a YouTuber. You understand? You can see that our creativity fused with the technology. You needed a YouTube for him to do what he was doing. So it's his creative essence with the technology produces a super I show speed, right? So this is now where we have to think differently, like our ancestors did. They've always thought different. It's in our DNA. How do we now infuse this in an ethical manner that can now keep us ahead of the game, right? So this is a different mindset. When you're talking about that 10-year school, what does that look like? It is a different way of thinking. How do you use your authentic creative essence to now go into the workforce and create something? Because yes, there is that, like the factory worker, Amazon shut down a whole bunch of stuff for automations, right? So these are the conversations that we have to have. See, this is where the part 2 comes in. What does it really mean to be human, right? What does it mean now for us, right? So these are the deeper conversations. And I really trust that I answered the question for our sister over there.
Perfect. I love it. And I would just say this, as somebody who works in like community development or youth work, social work, I reflect on the time when I was younger, there was no such thing as a youth program.
Right.
There were no youth programs, right? Some of us, again, the graybeards, remember a time when there was no such thing as an ATM machine.
Correct.
You remember those things?
Yep.
Right? And then all the worrying, and there are also some other pieces, pushbacks around. That's the devil thing, 666, church, the mosque, wherever you can pay your tithes and so on. So, through this technology. So I think it's a natural piece. That as we move on, different opportunities come and other opportunities fall off, right? And for me, I'm less concerned in the sense where tomorrow's world is for the children, and they're already far ahead. I mean, if you compare their access and intellect when it comes to technology versus us, they were born into this thing,
right?
But I always remind them that it's our generation that created it. But that being said, they're born into it. So I think that challenge will be a little bit less for them, because even the world of work that they're in is not the same world of work that we have experienced or we inherited. So, I'm less leery about that.
All right, as we start winding up, some final comments. Frequency of Air Promotion says, Hezzy, what you are doing needs to be, okay, our producer, what you are doing needs to be funded on all 3 levels of government, from local and abroad, private foundations. What's next for Hezzy? Well, he already said what's next for him. He also says, armed with a dream, inside thing for Hezzy, but it's time to elevate the minds. He also says it's also time to enhance the right side of the brain. And Dr. Tachi says, I show speed is the perfect example. There we go. Yeah. Any final words for you, Mr. Hezzy, before we let you go rule another part of the digital world, baby?
Right. I just want to say thank you, to everybody. I just want to say thank you, I'm very grateful for being here. And follow along, on my Instagram, connect with me. Because another part that I didn't talk about is, if you're an artist, I make AI videos for you as well. So when you see the dub plate art, so there's one thing that as a creative consultant, if people are looking for help with their self-publishing, or if you have a song and you just need visuals, contact me. So that's something that I'm working on right now, is helping the artists get their work out there with the AI tools that I have, the dub plate art. And I'm putting some movies together. So if you follow at my Instagram, you're going to see these movies that I put together, these short films that really teach young people about, even the world, teach us about our history. So connect with me. The app is there. Yeah, I'm going to add some more things to the app. If you're a teacher, if you're a principal, or even a parent, and the course is coming. You know, the one-on-one
Okay.
or the small group courses coming. So yeah, just connect
So
with me.
Dr. Tachi says this is phenomenal. Thank you, Hezzy. So
Thank you so
Dr.
much.
Tachi appreciates. Oh, the comments are still coming in. My
Let
goodness.
them come.
Kofi Code says this year's Black History Month theme, honoring Black brilliance across generations from nation builders to tomorrow's visionaries. This conversation tonight embodied this. The ancestors see us.
Thank you so much.
It's all in alignment. All in alignment.
Okay, quick question for you. What are the top 3 or 4 AI apps that you use?
Stay elevated AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 times. Say that 3 times. Say that.
Okay.
Exactly. Stay elevated AI. Stay elevated AI. And stay elevated AI.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah, that's exactly.
All right. So I'm not sure. You can stay on for a minute, but are you aware? Because I want to kind of promote this next event coming up. Is Professor Anthony Browder will be coming to Toronto this week, February 24th and February 25th at the U of T Scarborough campus on the 24th, and at the Ma'at Youth Innovation Cultural Center. For those who want to find out information, you can go on the East Scarborough Boys and Girls Club Instagram, or we have it on the screen there if you want to scan it, but definitely look out for that. It's going to be a big event. Professor Anthony Browder, in alignment, with some of the work that you've done, this brother's been around, this elder's been around, has always used, art and technology to promote the knowledge and the consciousness. Even if you look at a lot of the things like the Browder Files and other works that he's done, he's very big in the image revolution. So definitely, I'm going to promote that. I will be there on Tuesday. If anybody wants to come out, I might try to get Dr. Vibe and Kofi to come. I'm twisting their arms right now. It's going to be a very big event here in Toronto. So Professor Anthony Browder coming out of Chi-Town, I think Chicago. It will be great. So try to be there if you can.
Wonderful. All right. So as we wrap it up, as we always do, if you want to get a hold of Kofi Sadat, there's the email, there's the Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and also Kofi Morris, the email, the 2 Instagrams and Facebook, and myself, one link, taplink.cc/the drvibeshow.com. We also like to hear from you. So contact us at Black Men Can Talk. That's BLKMENCANTLLK. Just know the spelling. All right. Always, you can watch replays of this epic conversation on the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Also the Dr. Vibe Show website, and also Paul Osbourne as on Facebook. So, brother, man, you got to come back for round 2. You were dropping lots of knowledge bombs tonight. There's so much more we have to know about. All of us have to know about. I want to say thank you for taking the most important thing, your time to hang out with us. And it's appreciated, not taken for granted. And as always, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions. Aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, make history. Try to do both and always make it better. God bless. Peace, y'all. Keep the faith. Walk good. Peace.
Stay black.